Welcome to Safe CIC's response to the coronavirus situation in the UK. The impact of these challenging times upon the welfare of the most vulnerable in society cannot be underestimated, with people self-isolating, families facing immense financial pressures, and all of us uncertain about what the future may hold. We have already seen a rise in cold callers and scammers. To help keep families as safe as possible, Safe CIC has developed these frequently asked questions. They are also available on our website at www.safecic.co.uk and can be downloaded as a Word or PDF document there.
My children are old enough to be at home alone while the schools are closed, but I'm worried that they might get bored and/or into trouble while I'm at work.
This is a huge challenge for families, especially as time goes on. The government instruction though is to stay at home, so childcare should be at home subject to the exceptions for school provisions. You can see these on the government website, and not to be arranged with anyone vulnerable to the virus, such as relatives aged 70 years or over, or people with an underlying health condition. Get them to check in with you frequently with their phones or other devices, so you can see where they are. Make sure they know not to let anyone in who they don't know, and identify trusted neighbours who can be called in an emergency and share their contact details as appropriate.
I'm worried that my disabled brother, who lives alone, will just let anyone in who knocks at the door.
There's already been a rise in cold callers pretending to be official visitors. Speak with him about being sure who people are. Although there should be none in the current period of stay at home, genuine callers like meter readers carrying ID, well, they'll always call back. Consider fixing a chain on the door and installing CCTV cameras outside the door to link to your mobile phone. Helpful guidance on this can be obtained via the tradingstandardsblog.co.uk.
My elderly mother lives alone. How can I be sure that the volunteer helping her is safe?
If the volunteer is a close neighbour and they've known each other for years, it is probably quite safe. Otherwise, many groups are being set up by local churches and councils, and their people will be known to them and quite trackable. Contact the group to check that they are following best safeguarding practice guidance. In any case, nobody should be going into the home unless for carer requirements or there is an emergency due to the required self-isolation of anyone 70 years of age or over.
My 10-year-old is really anxious and thinks everyone is going to die. What can I do?
Childline has seen a large rise in such concern in recent weeks and has written some good advice for young people and parents, and also resources for helping to deal with such worries. Similarly, young people will find help at www.kooth, that's KOOTH.com, where available. Your school nurse and/or GP will also be able to help if the anxiety does not reduce. Alternatively, seek medical advice from NHS 111 online.
My grandfather has paranoia and thinks everyone is infected.
Whether this paranoia has been medically diagnosed or is a new behaviour and difficult to manage, do speak with his GP about possible strategies. You need to be cautious, as it may only be a quite natural reaction to what is a frightening situation. Reassure your grandfather about what is happening and why. Ensure others who need to see him, such as carers, understand the situation. Explain to him and demonstrate the government's social distancing guidance. Seek medical advice from NHS 111 online if required.
My children are spending increasing amounts of time on the internet whilst we are working from home. How can we be sure that they are staying safe?
This is an important question at any time. Think You Know has been especially set up and designed by CEOP, the Child Exploitation and Online Protection Command within the National Crime Agency for this very purpose. There are user-friendly sections for all age groups, including children, young people and their parents or carers. They can be accessed online by searching Think You Know.
My elderly father lives 5 hours drive away, and he's been told that he's on the shielded patients list. How do I ensure that he's getting food delivered and that it's good food that he can prepare and eat himself? For example, he can't open tins and packets.
Most food being delivered to individuals during this crisis is coordinated via the council or local charities and religious groups. Your father will have received a letter or card through the door. If he is able to, get him to ring the number and explain his needs, or if not, perhaps you could do this yourself. With some prior arrangement and exchange of contact numbers, it may be that a neighbour could open a can or packet when required. Both your father and the neighbour will need to follow the social distancing guidance and leave the item on the doorstep and contact each other. It would be wise to also leave a dish or saucepan with a plate to protect the contents. Once opened, the neighbour should then leave the dish or saucepan on the step and knock on the door.
I'm a dad on my own with 3 young children and I'm trying to work from home. The children need care and attention and they're too young to look after themselves. What can I do before I break down?
Firstly, do not feel badly about yourself. These are very difficult times. Secondly, do not feel guilty. Take some time for yourself when practicable. When the children are asleep, treat yourself to some downtime and relax. Try to plan your day and know what and how much you can do. Take some of the children's toys and put them away. When they get bored, you can swap them over at a later time. Money Saving Expert has useful information about working if you have others to care for during this crisis. For help with stress and mental health issues, visit NHS Every Mind Matters.
My ex-partner has our children every other weekend. They tell me it is great fun as they always have a lot of visitors calling at the house, including children to play with. I am worried she will not take any notice of social distancing.
You will need to try and talk with him or her about the importance of the government's social distancing guidance and seek cooperation. Whilst this should not be happening at all, in line with the most recent instruction from the government to stay at home, if you are still worried, you can telephone your local council and ask to speak with a childcare social worker for expert advice. This should be done well before the children are due to visit.
If you have any safeguarding related questions which you feel need to be answered, please get in touch either via our website or email us direct at crisis.questions@safecic.co.uk.